Hey guys, welcome back. This week I have some meals for you that look like they could be complicated, but they are easier than you think and they are sure to please your family. I saved the best recipe for last, so make sure you stick around for that one. To kick this video off, I made some sausage and cheese manicotti. Before we get started, we need to make sure we're preheating our oven to 350 degrees, and I'm also chopping up half of an onion. Over to my skillet, I'm going to add 1 pound of ground Italian sausage, and we're also going to add that onion we chopped up, and now we're just going to brown up our sausage and let the onion cook in here as well. When your sausage is just about done, go ahead and add 1 to 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. I'm just going to let this cook in here for a minute or two until my sausage is all the way cooked, and then we're just going to remove it from the heat. While my sausage was cooking, I also went ahead and boiled up 1 package of manicotti noodles. Over to a large bowl, I'm going to add 1 15-ounce container of ricotta cheese, 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, 1/3 of a cup of grated parmesan cheese, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of oregano, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of salt, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Once all that's in my bowl, I'm going to go ahead and mix it together. Now I'm just adding in my sausage. I did go ahead and drain the grease from my sausage, and then I'm just going to go ahead and get that combined. I almost forgot this guy off to the side, but I wanted to add about 1/4 of a cup of frozen spinach in here. I had a little less than that, but I just went ahead and finished off the bag. I had let mine sit on the counter to thaw, so it wasn't all the way frozen, and then I went ahead and just mixed that in as well. To prepare my pan, I have a 9x13 dish here. I'm adding just a small amount of sauce in the bottom, and I'm just going to spread that out so my noodles don't stick to the dish. The easiest way to fill up these noodles is by using an icing bag. I have a big package of these I keep in my kitchen, and I think they are a great item to have in your kitchen. I'll link the ones below that I have. I just purchased them from Amazon. So what I'm doing is I'm adding my filling into the bag. I cut the tip off enough so that the sausage could make its way through. And then I'm inserting the icing bag into one side of my noodle, and I'm just squeezing the bag until I see the filling start coming out the opposite side of the noodle. You will use all of your filling with these noodles. I actually refilled the bag one time. I did that off camera just because you saw me fill the bag the first time. But once I get all these filled up, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my sauce over top of my noodles. Altogether, I'm only using 1 jar of sauce. And as you add it on the top, make sure you spread it out as evenly as possible and try to get your noodles covered on every single corner. That way they don't get too hard in the oven. Now I'm just going to cover this with a sheet of foil, and this is going in the oven to bake for about 20 minutes. After it comes out of the oven, go ahead and remove the foil now. Next, I'm adding on about 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. And then after you add the mozzarella, go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of shredded parmesan cheese. This went back in the oven for an additional 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, I turned on broil and I broiled this for another 3 minutes. I let this sit on my stove for about 10 minutes and I topped it with a little bit of parsley before serving. Here's what my finished plate looked like. I just added a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese over the top, and then you can serve this with a nice side salad and breadsticks. Now we're gonna make these taco stuffed bell peppers. I'm starting by preheating my oven to 350 degrees. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and clean out 4 peppers. I am using 2 green peppers and 2 red peppers today. You're just going to clean out all the seeds and trim the insides down a bit. And since my red peppers were a little bit larger than my green peppers, I kind of just cut those in half. And then I'm also going to be chopping up half of a yellow onion and 1 jalapeno that I removed the seeds from. You will also probably notice the bell peppers I chopped up there in the corner. Those are just going to go in my freezer. I don't want to waste any part of my bell pepper, so I'm just going to save those for later. Into a small baking dish, I sprayed it down with a little nonstick spray. And then I'm adding my bell peppers in here, and these are going to go in the oven uncovered for about 20 minutes to start to soften up. While those are in the oven, I'm going to begin on my filling. So I have 1 pound of lean ground beef here. I believe this was 93.7. I'm adding in my onion and my jalapeno that we chopped up earlier. I'm just going to let the 3 of these cook together. Once my ground beef was done, I went ahead and drained any grease. There wasn't a lot of grease, but the pepper and the onion created a little bit of liquid, so I went ahead and got rid of that. To my meat, I'm adding in 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, as well as about 1 cup of Mexican rice. You can use any rice that you want to. I used the Mexican rice by Rice-A-Roni just because it was nice and quick. To season this up, I'm just using some pre-made taco seasoning, but you can absolutely make your own. I'm using about 4 tablespoons or 1 package of taco seasoning. And then I'm also adding a little bit of this chipotle powder. I love the flavor that this adds to Mexican dishes. However, it is spicy, so if you do use it, go light at first. To finish it off, I'm adding a 1/2 cup of shredded Mexican style cheese, and then I'm just going to stir this to make sure it's all combined well. Here are my bell peppers coming out of the oven after 20 minutes. They have softened up quite a bit, so now we're going to go ahead and fill them up with our filling. I also want to let you know that you can actually make about 5 to 6 bell peppers with this filling. I did have a little left over, but I just went ahead and saved that for later. Now these are going back in the oven for an additional 15 minutes. To finish off these bell peppers, I'm just adding some more of that Mexican style shredded cheese over the top of them. And then I'm going to put them back in the oven for another 3 to 5 minutes until the cheese has melted down. Here is what my finished plate looked like. I went ahead and served those peppers with the rest of that Mexican rice, a little sour cream over the top with some green onions, and honestly, this dinner looks like it could be complicated to make, but it is so easy and a really nice change from your basic taco night. The last recipe of the week, I have not made this in forever, and I was so excited about it. We're making this chicken bacon pizza with a garlic dill sauce. To begin, I'm just preheating my oven to 375 degrees. And we're gonna go ahead and get our crust started first. I'm just using this crust mix from Walmart. I'm just following the package directions, adding a little bit of water. You give it a good mix and then you just basically let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. I normally let mine just sit until I have everything prepared, so it actually sat for more like 30 minutes for me. While I'm waiting on the crust, I'm going to go ahead and start my toppings. So I'm adding 5 slices of bacon into my pan. I just cut my slices in half so they fit better in here, but there is only 5 slices of bacon. Once my bacon was cooked, I just removed those over to a paper towel for right now. I'm also going to be cooking up 1 chicken breast. I went ahead and sliced this one down the middle because it was pretty thick, and then I just seasoned this with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder on both sides. I decided since I already had this bacon grease over here, I would just go ahead and cook my chicken in here. You definitely don't have to do this, but it does add a lot of extra flavor to your chicken. Now that my chicken's cooked all the way through, you just want to make sure it hits at least 165 degrees. I'm moving it over to my cutting board so I can chop this up into nice small pieces. While I'm at it, I'm also going to chop my bacon and thinly slice my Roma tomato. Last but not least, I'm thinly slicing just a few pieces of red onion. You do not need a lot. You don't want to overpower your pizza with the onion. After I get a couple slices of that off, I'm going to mince that up pretty fine. Next, we're going to start on our crust. So I went ahead and sprayed my pan down with some nonstick spray. Go ahead and dump your dough out onto your pan, and you're just going to spread this out until it's to your desired size. You may have to play with it just a little bit to get it to stay the size that you want it, but eventually it'll stay where you need it to. Next, in a small bowl, we're going to get our sauce ready. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of sour cream, 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 3 tablespoons of half and half, a half teaspoon of onion powder, a half teaspoon of dried parsley, a half teaspoon of dill, a half teaspoon of garlic, and then just a couple shakes of pepper. You're just going to mix this until it becomes a smooth sauce. Now I'm going to go ahead and add that entire bowl of sauce onto my crust. This sauce is not overpowering with the dill or the garlic. Honestly, I could eat this sauce right out of the bowl with a spoon. It is so good. Elijah actually mentioned to me I should make extra next time and drizzle it over the top. I don't know why I never thought of that, but that's such a great idea. I think it would be so good that way as well. When you're adding the sauce, you do want to make sure that you leave some room on the edges for your crust. Now that my sauce is evenly spread over the crust, in this bowl I have 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese as well as 1 cup of shredded Colby Jack cheese. I'm going to go ahead and add about 1 cup of this cheese onto my crust. Go ahead and set the other cup aside for now. We're going to use that in just a minute. Next, I'm adding on the chicken, and you do want to use all of the chicken that we cooked up, the entire chicken breast, and you just want to make sure you're spreading that as evenly as possible on your pizza. Next, go ahead and add your bacon and your red onion. And then we're going to add our Roma tomato. So my husband is not a big tomato fan, so I went ahead and just added the tomato onto one side of my pizza, but I would definitely recommend adding the tomato. It makes it have a fresh taste and it's so good. The last step before this goes in the oven, we're adding that last cup of cheese over the top of all of our toppings. This pizza baked in my oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. It's going to depend on your oven, of course, so make sure you keep an eye on it. But this is what my pizza looked like when it came out of the oven. And the last thing you're going to do to top this pizza off is shred some fresh Parmesan cheese over the top, as well as sprinkle just a little bit of parsley. This pizza has become one of my all-time favorite pizzas. I told Elijah that I really would like to make it again soon and try his idea out, drizzling the sauce over the top as well. The sauce with all these toppings, they just all come together so nicely, and it is such a great pizza. Honestly, I would rather have this than order out any day. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you try any of these recipes out, I would love to know. You can let me know below in the comments or on my Instagram page. My name's right there on the screen, and I will see you guys back here on Wednesday for a new video.